So I think we're live, and I hope you can hear me. Hey, everyone. Hi. Please, if someone's, oh, come on, again, I'll try again. If somebody's here already, please let me know in the chat if you can hear me, or if I'm still muted. Let me see, where's the chat? Here's the chat. Waiting. Hey, Shadi is here already. Nice to see you. My headphones, real quick. Here we go. Hey, Milad. Hey, you can hear me. That's great. Awesome. Cool. So as you can see, I'm playing with a new background, the green screen, because I've switched things around in my office/living room. Hey, Ahmed. Hey, Balesabu. Good to see you all. It's great to have you all here. I've switched things around a little so that I have a little more space. But this time I'm working with a green screen because behind me, it looks like a mess. So what you can see here, this actually is the photo of, well, behind the scene, the photo of our Amazon office in Chicago. However, I am not in Chicago. I am in Hamburg, near Hamburg in Germany. Not in the Chicago office, but that's what it looks like over there. So great to have you all here. We're going to run through a number of certifications questions today again. And we had lots of comments on the questions themselves. And I hope we're going to have a few people in the chat here again as well. To those of you who were the winners of last week's raffle, I only got around to send out a few vouchers yesterday because I was out of the office all week. Apologies for that. Thanks. Apologies for that. It took some time for me because I wasn't working for a few days because of personal reasons, but everything's good. Everything's fine. So I sent out a number of vouchers yesterday. If anyone from you who won last time didn't receive your voucher yet, please let me know, and I'll put the email address over here again. Let me see. Here we go. If you send a mail to this email address, let me know that you didn't get your voucher yet. I will send it out as soon as I can, which means most likely in the beginning of next week. Okay, cool. Let's see. So today we're going to talk about questions number 11 to 15 of our 1-minute AWS certification quiz. I'm going to try and answer your questions if you have any. And I'm also going to run a raffle for all chat participants today again. Let me start that real quick. Click on Start Giveaway. Here we go. So something should show up in the chat in a minute. Waiting for it. Yeah, a raffle has started. Use !raffle to enter the raffle. Everybody who's on the chat is eligible to win $25 voucher to use on AWS. A few of you asked me if you can use that voucher for your AWS certification. No, unfortunately not. Yeah, just do like Sudalai. Just type !raffle so you're part of the raffle. Cool. So some of you asked me if you can use the voucher towards your certification, towards the exam. No, unfortunately not. That voucher really is for AWS services, so for use inside of your AWS account. Cool. People are joining the raffle. That's great. So what I'm going to do today really is walk through all 5 of last week's questions and do the, hey, Ujval, good to see you. Nice to see you again. Vignan, Ujval, you are the first one to answer all of these questions, right? I mean, it's real. Hey, Stefan, it's really awesome, Ujval, to see that you have, I think you have answered each and every one of those questions. Most of them were correct. And you're pretty much all the time, you're the first one, which I really like. Thanks for doing that. It's great to see that you're so dedicated. I Ujjwal, let me know in the chat. I'm not sure if I asked you that before, but let me know in the chat, are you preparing for the certification or do you already have it? Because your answers are mostly correct. Let me know in the chat real quick. While we do that, I'll pull up my screen. Let's see. Share screen. I will use this window. Here we go. So I hope you all can see my screen. If you can't, let me know real quick. So let me see if I can make that a little larger. No, it doesn't. It's even smaller now. Oh, okay. I reduced the font size. It increases the actual video, which is nice. Yes, you're preparing for the Solutions Architect Associate. Yes, good luck for that one. I'm sure you will do quite well on that one. Okay, cool. Who else here, Chad? Just let me know real quick. Who else is preparing for a certification, and which one are you preparing for? And also, if you have a certification already, an AWS certification, let me know in the chat. While I look at this question real quick. So, cool. Chat. So which certifications do you have? Which ones are you trying to get? And I also put out, I don't know if you saw that, I also put out, oh, for sysops, that's nice. I also put out a video, let me see, YouTube. I also put out a YouTube / I also put out a quick guide last week, Developer Associate Sudalai, that's nice. Look at how small they are now. I also uploaded a quick guide. Here we go. I'll just put that. I'll just put that in the, oops, post that in the comments. If you want to watch that, this is just where I go through the different certifications, what they are, what you can expect. Also, the order in which I went through certification, just to have a look at them if you're interested. Anyway, so Ahmed is going for Solutions Solution Architect SSA. I think you mean SAA. Milad has a Solution Architect Associate, and the developer is preparing for SA Professional, which is really difficult. It took me about, I mean, I worked on AWS for quite some time until I was ready for the Solutions Architect Professional. Studying for that one took me maybe 3 months of intensive studying to be able to get the Solutions Architect Professional. Stefan has the Solutions Architect Professional, but it's good to keep practice high until recertification comes around the corner. Yeah, the good thing is that we've increased the time between recertifications from 2 years, which it was in the past, to 3 years, which it is now. And another good thing is if you do the Solutions Architect Professional or the DevOps Engineer Professional, it also basically is like a recertification for the associate level certificates as well, or at least it was like that in the past. I think that hasn't changed. I might be mistaken though. Anyway, Solutions Architect Professional is really tough. You really need to know what you're talking about. And what's really interesting about that, it's not so much about learning and studying. It's more really about the experience you have. It really asks what's called situational questions, where you have a situation where you have multiple answers, and all of these answers can be right, can be the correct answers, because they all help build the solution, but one really fits the exact requirements. So this can be really difficult when you have like a difficult question and 4 answers, all basically doing the same, coming to the same result, with one being more exactly what is needing by the customer and the other one's not quite. So that really comes down to knowing the ins and outs and the pros and cons of different services, and when is it more useful to use things like what, I can't come up with anything right now. It's really, some services have overlapping, have an overlap in what you can do with them, and sometimes it's more cost effective or more reliable to do this or that, and that's really what it comes down to. Anyway, first question of the day. Which of the following are reasons to select an on-demand instance? Choose two. Now, chat, please let me know which two of those do you think are reasons to select an on-demand instance? And it's EC2 instances, of course. So A, applications with short-term spiky workloads. B, applications that have flexible start and end times. C, applications with steady state usage. Or D, applications being developed or tested on EC2 for the first time. What do you think? Robert? Hey, Robert, good to see you. Nice to see you. Nice that you're here. Thanks for joining. Robert says A and D. Anybody else? Chat, what do you think? A and D? Anybody with a different opinion? Oh, my coffee is empty. I should have made a new one. And for everybody who just joined, A and C. Sudalai says A and C. Stefan says A and D. For everybody who just joined, we're doing a quick AWS certification quiz. The questions that we're talking about are all around the level of Solutions Architect Associate. Please feel free to join the chat. Also, as you can read, a raffle is going on. If you type !raffle in the chat, you're in for a raffle of $25 of AWS credits. So Tanya says A and B. Ahmed says A and D. But I'm probably not pronouncing some names correctly. I hope you don't mind. Balasabu, A and D. Ujwal says A and D. Vinyan, I'm not sure, says A and D. In German, if you have G and N right after it, another, you make this sound. So in German, I would pronounce it Vinyan. Vignan. No, it's Vignan. I think it's Vignan. Bruce. Okay, Bruce is part of the raffle as well. Thanks for joining. So, okay, I would say let's solve it. Let's go through the answers one by one. A, applications with short-term spiky workloads. Why would A be correct? Most of you, if not all of you, said A. Yeah, all of you said A. What do you think? Why is A correct? Chat, let me know in the chat real quick. Just a few words. You don't need to type out whole paragraphs. Just type real quick. What do you think? Why is A correct? Why are on-demand instances a good reason? Or why is it a good reason to use EC2 instances if you have applications with short-term spiky workload? What do you think? Let's see. Anyone? So everybody said A. You're probably still typing and it takes some time. I think we have like 5 seconds of delay. Anyway, you can type and send me the answer. I will start talking about it. Okay, here we have Vignan says, because they are cost efficient when compared to other instances. Price used with auto-scaling group, cost savings, cost efficient. Yes, the thing is, if you have short-term spiky workloads, that you need to be able to quickly start new instances when you need them, but you also need to be able to quickly shut down instances when you don't need them anymore so that you don't have to pay for them. And this is what on-demand instances really are for. You have that elasticity. Yeah, for short-term price is cost efficient, exactly. You have this elasticity in the cloud, and you can really make effective use of this elasticity by just saying, I need 5 more instances now, and 10 seconds later, you can say, I don't need them anymore, and you don't pay for them anymore. So that's, a great thing. Stefan makes a great point here. You don't have to plan ahead about load. This is actually something very often you don't really know what kind of load you will have to expect. So using on-demand instances, or at least a mix of spot instances, reserved instances, or savings plans with on-demand instances can help you basically account for that unknown that you have in your load. So you might know that you will have a certain amount of load, but you don't know what the peak will be, and you want to account for that peak. So that's a great point, Stefan. Thanks for that one. It's not just it's not just on demand or not on demand. You can even mix those and account for use reserved instances or savings plans for what you know you're going to have, and use on demand for everything that goes beyond that. Okay, B, applications that have flexible start and end times. Which purchase option would be best for those? What do you think? Which purchase option would be best for applications that have flexible start and end times? And I've already mentioned that right now yeah, on demand is like pay as we use. You only pay what you use with on demand. But that's the same with what we have for B, applications that have flexible start and end times. And Spot, Vignan Ujjwal, right, Spot. Spot instance, the Spot purchase type is the classic use case for, or the other way around, applications with flexible start and end times are a classic use case for Spot instances. So if it's not that important that they run at this specific point in time, you'd rather save costs instead of running them at a specific point in time, you can always use Spot instances. Perfect. What about C, applications with steady state usage? There's a third, or we have, all in all, we have 4 purchase options on AWS. We had on demand, we have Spot, and we have 2 more. What are those? And why would these be the correct one for C? What do you think? And for everyone who C would be better for reserved instances. Yes, Bruce, thank you. Reserved instance for steady usage. That's right. And what else do we have which is similar to reserved instances? What else do we have, Chad? Do you know? And especially if you know, what is the difference? But reserved instances, of course, is right. For applications with steady state usage, it makes sense to get reserved instances because then you pay much less than you would pay for on-demand instances. But you couldn't use Spot because you need them available, and you wouldn't have them available with Spot. So Ujjwal says scheduled reserved instance. That's an option, but that's not what I mean. What I'm talking about is savings plans and Aparnas's capacity reservation. And that's not what I mean. These are variants, but what I'm talking about is specific purchase options and also not dedicated instance. I'm talking about, and I'll type it in the chat, savings plans. And this is something that you should definitely have a look at. Let me see. I'll type that here. AWS savings plans. Here we go. This is something that you should definitely have a look at. I'll post the link in the chat. This is something that you should look at because it is with savings plans, they are like reserved instances, but they're much more flexible because you don't have to reserve an instance. You can basically say, I would like to have a savings plan for, let's say, $10 a month. And for the first and you're getting compute up to that amount for a reduced price, and everything that goes on top of that, you pay the normal price. So you don't need to know how many instances you need at any specific point in time. You only need to know how much roughly you are going to pay. So you can say, okay, I might need to pay like between $10 and $15 a month for my instances. And then you can say, okay, the lowest is $10. Let's do a savings plan for those and do the rest with on-demand instances so that you pay less for the first part and you do the rest with the with on-demand instances. And with that, you're much more flexible than you are with pure reserved instances. And what's interesting about savings plans, we have variants of savings plans that even apply to Lambda functions, where even your cost of Lambda function gets lower if you use savings plans. So that's a really important point to know. I don't know if that's being asked in the certification. However, that's really important to know if you have to work with EC2. Okay, all right, cool. So that's that. The fourth answer, D, applications being developed or tested on EC2 for the first time. And this is a classic use case for on-demand instances as well, because in this case, you don't really know what kind of work you need, what kind of load you'll have. You might have just very little load. You want to test it out. You want to start it up. If you realize while testing, you realize it doesn't work, you have to shut it down again. So in that case, it would be really useful to have this elasticity again, where you can really say, I just want to have what I need when I need it, and I don't want to pay for anything that I don't need. So the correct answer to this one is A and D. And now let's see. We had a number of, make that larger again. We had a number of participants here. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's ask Madam A again. Oh, come on. Here we go. What did I say? 11? Give me a random number between 1 and 11. Oh, it's 5. It says 5. Just can't hear it. So 5 is, what do we have? 1, 2, 3. Darth Sudalai is the winner. Congratulations. Sudalai is the winner of the first one. I'll just jot that down real quick. 11, Sudalai Aja is the winner of those who participated on YouTube. Great. Stefan wrote something. Aparna, same to me. What is that? And I haven't used savings plans, but it's an easy to handle option. One more thing learned today. Yeah, cool. Okay. Good. So congratulations, Sudalai, for the credits, and everybody on the chat, everybody who's actively participating today, please type !raffle in the chat for your chance to also win $25 in AWS credits. Let's go to the next question. Okay, your website is mostly static, but you add a new section with EC2 instances behind an elastic load balancer that should be accessed through a subdomain. Which DNS record set lets you point that subdomain towards the elastic load balancer? And the questions are A, SOA, B, CNAME, C, AAA, or D, MX. What do you think? What do you think? Which one is the right one? A, SOA, B, CNAME, C, A, or D, MX? And this is a question about DNS. And what's the name of the DNS service, of AWS DNS service? Does anybody remember? Okay, everybody answers with Robert says B, Ahmed says B, Vignan says B, Ujjwal says CNAME B, Sudalai says CNAME. Anybody else? Route 53, that's right, Vignan, that's correct. Route 53, that's the service. Does anybody know why it's called Route 53? Please let me know in the chat if you know why Route 53 has this specific name. Bruce says B, CNAME. Well, everybody's correct. Route 53, yeah, right. So everybody says CNAME, and this is the correct answer. I'll just quickly go through the other ones, what they are. A stands for, what is it? State of authority? I think it's state of Plan route 66. Port, yeah, right. Stefan has it right. Port 53 is the DNS port, and that's why route 53 is called route 53, because 53 is the DNS port. And while we're at it, do you know which protocol DNS uses? Do you know which protocol DNS uses? 53 is the port. Which is the protocol? And I don't mean, I mean the transport layer protocol. I don't mean the oh, come on, the I don't mean the application layer protocol. DNS is the application layer protocol. Actually, Robert is right. It uses TCP and UDP. Normally it uses UDP. I'm not entirely sure at what point of size it switches to TCP. I don't know, so I'm not going to go into that because I might tell you something wrong. But normally it's UDP. Route 53 normally is UDP, but can also use TCP in some circumstances. Okay, so a state of authority, that's basically admin information. CNAME, the C in CNAME stands for canonical. The canonical name, so you can use like, for instance, you have a domain like mydomain.com, but as a canonical domain, you want to use www.mydomain.com because you want people to use that www. In that case, you make a CNAME record that points that www to the original domain, which is different to an alias. Who in the chat can tell me about alias records and what the difference is? And while you're at that, quadruple A, so AAAA records, these are IPv6 records. So if you have, I'll get to your question, Tanya, in just a second. Or maybe someone in the chat can answer that. Is UDP faster than TCP? So A records for IPv4 and AAAA records for IPv6, they point a domain to an IP address. So this is the actual pointer. This is the actual thing that points to a specific IP address. And then a CNAME or an alias can have a different name pointing to the same IP address or overwriting another name, like in the case of CNAME. And then we have D, MX. MX stands for mail exchange. So if you have a mail server, like my email address at mydomain.com, the mail server can be a different server than the web server, for instance. And so MX points to where mails should be sent. Okay, just real quick to Tanya's question, is UDP faster than TCP? Yes, it is. Ujjwal is right. UDP is faster and it's simpler. The difference is TCP, the transmission control protocol, has a number of additional steps to make sure that all the packets arrive. And if some packets didn't arrive, that it makes sure that they're being resent. So if you download a file, like a website or a PDF or a video or an application, you want to make sure that you have all the bytes in the right sequence. Because if one is missing, it can mess everything up. And TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, makes sure that you get all the bytes. And if some bytes don't come in, I can request them again and you can send them again. UDP doesn't do that. UDP is much faster because it doesn't resend missing parts. UDP traditionally is used, for instance, like here, for video streaming or for voice streaming. UDP is used because it does. If I say hello world, and for some reason the W is missed, then you only hear hello world. But you don't want to hear, you don't want that W to be sent afterwards, like then it would be hello world. which wouldn't make any sense. So in UDP, you are willing to use some packets while at the same time receiving the packets at a faster pace. And that's what UDP is for. It's the UDP. I forgot what it stands for. Maybe somebody in the chat knows what UDP stands for. I actually don't remember. What does UDP stand for? UDP. User Datagram Protocol. Yes. And the header, if you look at that, the UDP header is really small as opposed to the TCP header. The TCP header is much larger than the UDP header, and TCP resends lost packets. UDP doesn't do that. So that's why UDP is much faster, but not as reliable. But it's okay for things like DNS queries. Okay, cool. So let's see, we have answers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Lots of people took part in that one. Let's see. Give me a random number between 1 and 17. Okay, it's 9. It gives me 9. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I just saw Ahmed. This is not an answer. Ahmed answered down here, but this is not one, so I can't count this one. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Milad is number 7, 8, 9. Edward Montes. Congratulations, Edward Montes. Let me write that down real quick. Edward Montes. Congratulations if you're here. For everybody else, what's up with that? Yeah, just type raffle if you want to take part of in the raffle of today's quiz show. Cool. Congratulations, Edward. Next question. This is about RDS. Which is the best approach to access an Amazon RDS instance to troubleshoot operating system issues? What do you think? A, RDP, B, SSH, C, SFTP, or D, none of the above? What do you think? And while you're at it, what does RDS stand for? I think we had that last time as well. We talked about RDS last time as well. So D, none of the above. D. Oh, you're right. None of the above. Relational database service. That's right. RDS stands for Relational Database Service, and this basically is our database service that where you can run different relational databases. D is right. RDP would be to connect to Windows instances. You can run Windows instances in EC2, but RDS instances, even if the underlying instance is a Windows instance, you're not able to connect to that one. Same with SSH. You cannot SSH into those instances. And SFTP is something entirely different. SFTP is Secure File Transfer Protocol. So if you want to use FTP, it is advisable to use Secure FTP. But that's not at all to troubleshoot operating system issues. And the thing is, Vinyan said that, and Ujjwal said that as well. RDS is a managed service provided by AWS. And as part of the shared responsibility model, we take care of the underlying operating system, so you don't have to. We make sure that it's always patched, that it runs, that it has all the necessary security patches and so forth. And you only have to basically use the database management system on top of that. If you want to have a relational database where you are able to access the underlying operating system, you would have to deploy your own on an EC2 instance. You can do that, of course, but it's a lot of additional work in that case. So cool. Let's see. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't really understand that question. Yeah, I didn't really understand that question. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. Give me a random number between 1 and 8. And it's 7. Vignan, and you're on the call as well. Congratulations. Vignan, you have won question number, what was it? 11, 12, 13. Vignan, 13. Vignan Amanda. Congratulations. Very nice. Cool. Okay, next question. And for all of you who win today, who win something today, please get in touch with me using this email address. So I can share you the voucher. You are very welcome, Vignan. Thanks for playing. Thanks for being part of this community. It's so much fun having all you on board. And it's getting more and more every week, which I really appreciate. I think it's the 3rd week that I'm running this now, and I really appreciate you joining again and again. Thank you so much. All right, so next question, number 14. Which of the following AWS CLI, which stands for Command Line Interface, commands is used to work with Amazon EBS volumes? A, is it the command AWS EC2 and then the actual command? Or B, is it AWS EBS and then the actual command? Is it AWS volume and the actual command? Or D, you cannot directly access the EBS API from the AWS CLI. Which is it? Sudalai says A. Ahmed says A. Ujjwal says A. Tanya says B. Tanya says B. Anybody else? What do you think? A or B? Or maybe even C or D? Vignan says A. SBC says, hey, SBC, nice to see you. He says C, AWS volume command. Vignan says A. Patrick says A. Okay, so by vote of majority, I would say the correct answer is A. And not only by vote of majority. Stefan has to guess B. Actually, EBS is part of the EC2 service. So if you want to provision EBS volumes, you would use A. As most of you said, it is AWS EC2. Let's see if I'm going to fire up a terminal real quick. Just 1 second. Oh, come on. Mistake. Just 1 second. You cannot see what I'm doing because I'm not sharing my terminal yet. Just got to do one thing real quick. Okay. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to share my terminal. Stop the screen, share screen. We'll share this one. There we go. Okay, I hope you can see my terminal now. I make it a little larger. Here we go. So the AWS CLI is this one, AWS. And if I say AWS EBS, it will give me an error because EBS doesn't exist. It gives me a different error, but if I say AWS EBS list volumes, it gives me an error. Give me a second. Complete snapshot. It does. It actually does have some EBS things. AWS EBS help. This is interesting. I'm learning something new today. It does have EBS. It does have directive APIs, but not that many. So the question is wrong. Actually, most of you were right. Tanya was right as well. So we do have, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. We do have an EBS API to do certain things, but mostly we use EC2, like list volumes. Let me see. It's not list volumes. Is it describe volumes? Describe. Yeah, it's describe. AWS EC2 describe. Oops. AWS EC2 describe volumes. And this shows me my EBS volumes. And it could be what Stefan says. I'm using AWS CLI v2, and it could be that the CLI v2 is not yet in the scope of the exam. I'm not sure about that, so please don't rely on what I'm saying. It might have changed in v2. So what I'm seeing now is that most of the, let's do EC2 list volumes grep. Let's see. Yeah, so these are all the, no, it's here. Oh, here it is. No, it isn't. I'm mistaking something. Anyway, close that down. So, very important. I would assume that this question won't come up in the exam anymore because things have changed. So, and in our exams, we try to not be ambiguous. So I would assume this not to change. So usually A is correct. You use AWS EC2, but there also are a few API calls that really go through the AWS EBS. Interesting. I learned something new today. Good. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Give me a random number between 1 and 6. And we have 1, which is Ujjwal again. Ujjwal again, congratulations. So 14, Ujjwal, Sony. Here we go. Cool. Great, congratulations. What time is it? Okay, cool. Last question for today. How many times will a message be delivered? Oh, this is interesting. This is really interesting. I might have a few questions for you. How many times will a message be delivered when using a standard Amazon SQS queue? A, once and only once. B, at least once. C, once for each request of the respective message in the queue. Or D, this depends on the application pulling from the queue. What do you think? Is it A, B, C, or D? SBC says B. Vignan Manda says B. Ahmed says B. Sudalai says B. Yosan says B. And why is that? Why is it at least once? What do you think? Why is it at least once? Why doesn't it do once and only once? I mean, you could do that and make a queue that whenever somebody pulls from the queue, it's invisible to everybody else. So it will be delivered once and only once. Why doesn't SQS do that? Anyone? Why doesn't SQS do once? Because it uses a FIFO queue? No. We do have a FIFO queue, which is an option to get your message once and only once. However, I'll explain it real quick, or I'll try. I'll explain it real quick. How does receiving a message work on SQS? I put a message. So idempotent, is there deduplication option to be activated? Not really. Okay, I'll try and explain how SQS works. You have a queue, and the producer puts a message on the queue. Then the message goes along the queue, and then a consumer comes and picks up that message. Once the consumer picks up that message, the message is being made invisible for a certain amount of time. So during this time window, no other consumer can see that message. And if the consumer that picked up that message doesn't respond within that time window, the message becomes visible again. So another consumer can pick it up. The reason why that is because if the original consumer picks up that message and then crashes, the queue has no way of knowing that the consumer crashed. So the queue does not know if the message has actually been processed or not, which is why we have a mechanism where the consumer, once the consumer has processed the message, goes back to the queue and deletes the message. So it's a two-step process. First, get the message, process the message, or a three-step process all in all. Get the message, process the message, delete the message. Because the queue has no way of knowing if the consumer actually was able to process the message, or if it maybe crashed. So to make sure a message gets processed, you need this mechanism, because you have that decoupling between the queue and the consumer, but the queue cannot know what happened to the consumer if the consumer never responds back. This is why you have at least once delivery to ensure reliability. So let's see the chat. Visibility timeout is responsible for the message to determine the time. Yes, exactly. There's a default value of visibility timeout, but you can make that longer. Let's say the consumer has a really long-running process where they need to talk to a database and call an API and do lots of things before reporting back and saying, all right, I'm done. If this takes a certain amount of time, you can extend your visibility timeout. You can make a longer visibility timeout so that the consumer has enough time to process the message. This is what the visibility timeout is for, exactly. And another reason for this is because SQS is a distributed service. It is highly available, but for us to make it highly available, we need to distribute it. So whenever one node, because underneath that somewhere are computers, and if one node goes down, it cannot lose messages. But so it has to replicate the messages across multiple nodes. And through this distributed system, it can be that a message is on multiple nodes, and not every node will know if the message has been processed. So I think I'm making this really complicated. The thing is, in order to have once and only once on a distributed system like SQS, you would need to have distributed transactions. And distributed transactions are really complicated and slow, which is why we do have an option of FIFO queues, which is first in, first out queues, where the order is being maintained, which is also difficult in a distributed system. This is why FIFO queues are slower than standard SQS queues, because we need to do all this distributed transaction thing in order to make sure that the order is being maintained. So the standard queue is both not first in, first out, and it delivers the message at least once. It makes sure that the message is delivered at least once, but it can be delivered more often than that. And now something comes in that Vignan said, item potency. I'll type that in the chat real quick. Or not in the chat, I'll type that here. Item potency. Here. Item potency. It's a complicated word. It simply means that if a message is being processed, it doesn't matter to the system whether a message is being processed once or twice or 10 times. So it shouldn't make a difference, no matter how often a message is being processed. It's like a, let's say a video. I don't know if you remember DVD players back in the day when we had DVD players. And on a DVD player, you had these mechanical buttons where you press on to play, and another one to press to stop, and another one to press to go to the menu. And let's take that button that you press to stop the DVD. If the DVD plays and you press on the stop button once, it will stop the DVD. If you press on the stop button again, it doesn't do anything anymore because the DVD has already been stopped. So it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't send you an error message telling you, oh, the DVD isn't playing, you can't stop it. It just doesn't do anything. And the state of the system remains the same. The DVD is stopped. And this is item potency. And if you have systems, distributed systems, decoupled systems using SQS queues, for instance, it is recommended to process your messages in the way that if they're processed multiple times, it doesn't make a difference. And this is what item potency stands for, that a message can't change the system multiple times. It can only change it once. A way to do that is, for instance, by deduplicating in the consuming process, for instance, by storing the message ID somewhere. And before processing the message, looking in the lookup table, did I process this message before? This is deduplication. Or by simply saying the message or processing the message does something, but if that has been done already, do nothing. Like if the message says stop the system and the consumer looks at the system and realizes, oh, it has been stopped, I don't need to stop it again. This is how you have to do that. So item potency is one of the mechanisms for that. Another question, Ujjwal. Does it maintain message in dead letter queue if they are missed? That's a good question. The dead letter queue, the DLQ, is an important pattern in messaging systems. What can happen if you have a message that leads to the consumer to fail? Every time it's being consumed, the consumer fails because the message is broken for some reason. This is what's called a poison pill message. So whenever a consumer swallows that message, the consumer gets poisoned and crashes. Since the consumer crashed, it will never report back to SQS saying, I've processed the message, you can delete it now. It becomes visible after the visibility timeout, and the next consumer comes, picks up that message, swallows it, and gets poisoned and crashes. So this poison pill can lead to consumers crashing all the time and over and over and over and over and over again, because it always becomes visible again and it gets consumed again and so forth. So you have basically, you are in an infinite loop. And to get out of that infinite loop, you can configure your SQS queue so that after a certain amount of tries, the message is put on a different queue. And this different queue is called the dead letter queue. So you can say, please try 5 times. And if after 5 times this message still wasn't successfully processed, please put this message on the dead letter queue for somebody to look into it. That's what the DLQ, the dead letter queue, is for. And let's see, SQS dead letter queue. I'll put a link to that in the chat, because this is a very important concept, because a so-called poison pill can break your entire system. And this is something as a solutions architect that you should be aware of. Okay, I'll move that banner. SQS dead letter queues. Yeah, I put that in the comment. Okay, cool. Let's see, before time's up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. We have 14, but I won't. If somebody comes up that has one already today, I will pick a different one. I hope that's okay for you. What did I say? 14. Give me a random number between 1 and 14. And it's 3. And number 3 is 1, 2, 3. Patrick. Do we have Patrick already? No, we don't. Patrick Manzano. Congratulations. So Patrick Manzano. And if you're still on the call, let me know real quick. Yeah, you're on the call. Cool, Patrick. I can't write. I got here. So, and now I'll do the raffle. Everybody, if you want to join the raffle, the live raffle for today, please type raffle again, just one more time, ! raffle. And then I'm going to pick another winner for today. Let's see, who do we have? And I'm not going to pick a duplicate winner. So whoever did already win today, if anybody who did already win today will be drawn, I will do a redraw real quick. Okay, cool. Everybody's in the raffle. What do you have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 entrants. Okay, we're getting more. We're getting more. Cool. Yosan, Stefan, SBC. Okay, SBC is on the raffle too. Okay, cool. All right, I'll wait another minute. And while I'm waiting, okay, cool. All right. I think everybody's in the raffle now. Yosan is in the raffle, SBC is in the raffle. And I am going to close the entries now. So let me see. I think. Where's my giveaways now? It's messing with me. Technology is messing with me. Yosan, you haven't won yet. For some reason, it's not showing me that. Oh, come on, please. It's messing with me. Bear with me. It doesn't show me the giveaways. I'll do this. Let me wait real quick. The bot is failing. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. We'll be right there. Here we go. Here we go. I'll be right there. You can't see what I'm doing, but that doesn't matter. Giveaways. Here we go. All right. Now I'm going to pick a winner. Let's see. We got Ahmed Sharaf. Congratulations. You won a credit voucher worth $25. Cool. So I think we got it. Please, each and every one of you who won today, let me know. Write down Ahmed's name real quick. Please send me a message to this email address, just a quick message, and I'll make sure that you get your AWS credits worth $25. Anyway, we're past the hour. I got to finish it for today. I'll be live next week again. I still have videos coming out 3 times a week right now. So I have got 3 questions per week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being on the show. Please like this video. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want. I will be happy if I see you next week again. Congratulations to all the winners. Thanks for joining and have a nice weekend. Take care and goodbye.